With so many different platforms,
Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube,
and their purposes evolving daily, navigating social media can be, well, complicated. Welcome to the Social Media Sucks podcast from Cubco.
Social media really sucks.
Where we unpack the latest trends and help remove the suck from social media.
Welcome back to the Social Media Sucks podcast, guys. Today we have Majken from Salesforce with us. And as always, our beloved
I'm always
CEO,
here.
Chris
I'm just
Covenus.
I'm like the furniture. I never go away. So, or bad luggage. Everyone's got luggage around forever. That's me.
I would point you to be a little better than bad luggage.
Bad.
It's
Okay. That's good.
I would pay extra to get
Yeah.
you with me on board.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Oh, that's so nice of you to say. Thank you. I'm so glad. We have an extra person in the podcast. Thanks, Thomas. Do you want to say anything? We'll keep that in, right, Artie? Yes. Good.
But other than that, I think I'll let you introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit more about your background and just yourself and your role at Salesforce.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you so much for inviting me. I've been looking
super
forward
welcome.
to this.
Thank
I'm
you
very
so much.
excited.
Yeah.
So I'm Majken Nielsen. I'm the Nordic Marketing Director at Salesforce in the Nordics. So I'm responsible for marketing in the Nordic countries, Denmark, Finland, Sweden, and Norway. So I have a background in the tech industry where I've been working for more than 15 years. And I joined Salesforce 2.5 years ago from a position as the CMO at IBM.
Yeah.
Cool.
And the reason why I thought Salesforce was interesting was because I had been following Salesforce and I saw the growth that the company is having and has had since the beginning, more than 20% each year.
Yeah.
And also the ability to explore and innovate all the time, which I think is quite interesting. And also the very strong values we have at Salesforce. So equality, innovation, trust, and customer success are our core values. But besides that, we also believe that business can be a platform for change. So we work with this 1-1-1 model that I'm very proud to be part of. So 1% of our equity, 1% of our time is, and 1% of our software is given back to the community.
Yeah. I think it's super cool.
Super cool.
I've always thought that was like something I'd wanted to implement actually at Cubco as well, the 1-1-1-1. Because I think it's very cool that you guys do that. And I think it adds to the spirit of like giving back. And I think that's something that can carry out through, because normally when you have people that join you and they don't necessarily get a chance to do it in their everyday, in their private lives, when they can do it as part of their job, then it's like, it's an added bonus, right? So,
It's really an added bonus. And the projects I've been working on, it's mentoring with an organization called Mind Your Own Business. It has been bicycling with elderly people.
Okay.
Also making food for homeless people. And
Great.
also just donating blood is also part of the giving back. But it's actually one of the things that when people ask me, so where do you work and what do you do? It's one of the things that I highlight. So it also gives some employee satisfaction that you really feel that you can contribute and give something back.
Yeah.
So it's really a great place to work and a fun place to work, but also a lot of work.
Yeah.
But it's
It should be a lot of work.
It should be a lot of work.
It's not
So,
easy.
but I mean, so Salesforce is a cloud enterprise company. It was founded 21 years ago, and it was born as a CRM company, but we have evolved a lot.
Yeah.
And sort of the mission for the company is to bring companies and customers together. So making sure that the companies that are our customers, they get a 360-degree view of their customers. So making sure that across all touch points that the companies can see what kind of interactions have we had, what kind of sales is going on, what kind of marketing activities, how can we help integrate with other applications, other back-end systems. So that is basically what we do. So helping our companies or our customers to do this.
Connect with their customers,
And then actually I heard previously, and we just acquired Slack.
Yeah, that's right.
That you're using.
We use that definitely. A lot of companies use Slack.
So now we are evolving again, and
Expanding.
it just went through the other day, and now we have a vision to become enable our customers to have this digital HQ where everything is connected on the Slack platform. So it's a company that is it's evolving all the time. So I'm sure that next year, if you invite me here, I'll be talking about other things
else,
that we're doing.
Yeah.
We'll
But
do a 2.0.
always having the customer at the center.
Yeah.
I've followed the evolution. Like I think the first Salesforce implementation I did was, I want to say 15 years ago. It was a long time ago, right? So I've been following the company all the way since the, the no software sort of days when they were very much like against, like having sort of that challenger brand enemy marketing approach where they were like, against discs being installed. Because that was what it was. Like literally you had to have, that was the software. You had something locally on your server or on your desktop. And I think that sort of,
seems invasive also, right?
Well, back then it was like the norm, right? That's where your CRM was. So I've been watching you guys evolve for a long, long time and being a part of it. We even had Salesforce at, I was at SimCorp many years ago, right? So that was implemented there. And I think the sort of 360-degree view on your customers really fits well into digital transformation and obviously like marketing. That's what we do. We love being able to get that view. And so I think Salesforce, in my mind, is kind of the front runner.
Yeah, that's also what we believe. Really, we are serving B2B customers and also B2C customers. And it's big companies such as Maersk, IKEA, Spotify, but it's also more mid-sized companies such as Imerco, Søstrene Grene, and the small electrical scooter company Voi that's no longer in Copenhagen. They're also a customer. Yeah. So I think it's impressive that we serve all these customers and that our solution can fit a very large corporation, but also a smaller business.
And also I think one of the big innovations that you guys had before anybody was App Exchange. I mean, nobody had that app ecosystem, right? It was only heard of on on Apple's sort of system, right? And no enterprise software had that. And I remember sitting with many software brands during those early days, they're going, look at Salesforce. We really want that App Exchange the same way. We want people to design applications that can go into our API and all that. Yeah. And they all wanted that, right? And you guys had just an amazing ecosystem of developers that were just building stuff, right? So it was really plug and play. You wanted, the chat function on your website to go into your CRM, no problem. You want this marketing piece to come in, no problem. You want this customer service piece. It was quite innovative. So
it's a great user journey that you create, right? Like a UX experience. So people would also be attracted to using the system, right?
Yeah.
As you're saying that you're expanding that much, and Salesforce is becoming more than in a system, right? But you also have Dreamforce. Can you tell us a little bit about the connection you have with Salesforce and Dreamforce? Because I could imagine a lot of people have heard about Dreamforce also.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so for those of you you
people watching
who
haven't heard about Dreamforce. Dreamforce used to be sort of the family reunion at Salesforce. So it was hosted in San Francisco physically every year. And the last time I was there, which was 2 years ago, we were more than 170,000 people in San Francisco at the same time. So a whole week of
that's so crazy.
Fun and excitement and innovation and networking. It was really an amazing experience. And before I joined Dreamforce, I had heard about it and I was like, But when you arrive, even in the plane, when you're sitting in the plane, everyone's wearing these Trailblazer hoodies.
It's a festival kind of.
Then it's
feeling,
like a festival.
right? Yeah.
And you have keynote speakers like Barack Obama or Megan Rapinoe. You have industry thought leaders from, the biggest corporations around the world. And you have cooks and singers and concerts. And as you say, in the lunch breaks, it's outside and you have a DJ and just this very cool atmosphere and really impressive. So that was a couple of years ago. Then we had Corona.
Since you mentioned COVID, what did you do during and after Corona to engage with the audience and your community?
So for Dreamforce or just in general?
In general. Maybe also exciting to hear for Dreamforce. Like how do you market that then?
Yeah, so Dreamforce last year, we had actually planned to have a physical event, then Corona hit, and then everything had to go virtual.
Yeah.
But I think what was exciting last year was that we then looked at, okay, what's, right now everyone is doing virtual events. How do we make this different?
Yeah.
So we enabled all our salespeople last year to actually make a personalized journey and set up a variety of meetings with thought leaders, and we had some content that they could leverage. So we created these personalized journeys for all the customers that were interested in having this experience.
Cool.
Okay.
However, we also found out that was a very big burden to put on the salespeople.
Yeah.
So this year we have sort of made a mix of the two. So we are still doing personalized journeys, but we also have a sort of a more centralized approach where we are organizing a large part of the Dreamforce experience. But now we are combining it with sort of the salespeople who will then follow up on the sort of experiences that we are providing.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
very cool.
Yeah, so this year, again, innovation is always at the center of Dreamforce. We're actually launching something called Salesforce Plus, which is like HBO and Netflix, but with business content. So
Okay. That's
it'll
exciting.
Yeah, it's quite exciting. So it's a new platform that will be free for all to use, where we will make content available and launch during Dreamforce. So it'll be a place where if you are a marketeer, you can go and find relevant content. If you want to listen to an industry session or so
if you need like a really cool video podcast that should be on Salesforce Plus, I know a few.
Okay, I will bring that to
Getting dry eyes.
Wink, wink.
Yeah.
I know one. It's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard of it.
Yeah, have you? Yeah. You know the one I'm talking about?
Birds are talking.
Yeah. So that's great. I mean, I think that's another place where you guys are being innovative on the marketing side. Like you're saying, you're
How
looking
do you
at.
push it out? I'm just curious. All
Don't
this
steal my
content.
thunder. I'm talking here. Yeah. How do you guys get it out there?
So the Salesforce Plus it'll be the way for people to join Dreamforce. So in that way, we are encouraging people to sign up for Dreamforce, which we have a lot of people who want to sign up for Dreamforce because they know the content will be relevant, and then that'll be on Salesforce Plus. So it'll be streaming on Salesforce Plus. So when you sign up for Dreamforce, you will be part of the Salesforce Plus channel or platform.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's nice. So you guys plan on just producing content for that, like
Yep.
and getting new content deals, and sort of like, I guess Discovery is similar, or Netflix, they're buying content. So you guys will
and
be
I
buying
think
content.
that's one of the things we've seen during the last year or 1.5 years is that content is very important now. We cannot just blast out our own marketing messages, but we need really to ensure that we have relevant content at the right time. So a big focus on content is important for me now to make sure that we are also engaging our customers with the right content, because before, I would say when we had a lot of physical activities as well, the networking part was a big part of it, but now you really have to have relevant content for people to engage.
Yeah, and you can also get the data on your customers to say what content are they actually looking at. Are they concerned about finance? Are they concerned about, are they a small business owner and they're concerned about, whatever it is, HR? Or then you guys can feed that into your guys' own marketing system and your own product development and say, okay, actually, I think we should go in this direction because we have 3 million people that are super interested in this area, right? So
exactly, and we can recommend content. Just like when you watch Netflix, you could say, okay, the next content you might like is this content. So we can that way further engage our customers.
Yeah. Will it be available like as a downloadable app on Apple TV or smart TVs, or is it just a website?
It's still under development, but I assume so.
You assume so?
Classify.
I don't even know. So I think the way Salesforce works, and that's also part of the innovation, is that we are very fast to go into market, and then we adjust based on, okay, what do we see? What's the needs? How do we then make sure that it fits our customers' requirements? So
Very cool.
Things might change along the way.
Yeah, it makes sense.
How do you then make sure that you create engagement in the community when everything is digital? I know you push the content out, but how do you make sure they interact or they actually, just engage with you guys as a brand?
I think that is also, something that we are focusing on to make sure that we have high engagement. We also put a lot of focus on our brand, and we protect our brand, and we are very proud of our brand. And I think the whole notion of having these strong values and having a community of brand ambassadors that we call trailblazers, they actually help us a lot, because we have a lot of customers that are very proud to be trailblazers and part of the Salesforce community. So they are helping us, I would say, a lot in this journey and this focus.
Yeah, I think it's a core component that a lot of brands sort of misstep on, is that you need to have a great product backed by core values, and then bringing those people into the fold that can actually help you, get out that content or get out that message is really important, right? Like, just having a brand that, produces content maybe is not enough. You need to have some underlying things that actually make people feel like a community. Nike does it extremely well. Salesforce does it extremely well. Whereas, a community like for McDonald's, or they might not, right? Because it's like, what values are there and who's going to push that out, right? So I think it's a smart move that a lot of brands sort of misstep on, because they don't think of that. They just think, oh, we'll build a community because we have great content. Yes and no. You need to have that. You need to have that value system behind you that makes people want to actually support you, right?
We talk about that actually. We tap into that topic in our other episode, which is soon to be released, I think. The employee branding. The
employee branding one. Yeah, that's soon.
Soon,
soon, guys. We're behind schedule here. Already get editing it quick.
High demand.
Yeah.
But that's really interesting, Majken. Actually, I also just want to know what's then the challenges that's facing the Nordics here after the pandemic, I guess. Maybe is it too soon to see after?
No, it's after. Forget it. We're done. We're done with this.
Post-corona, okay. Chris decided
it's
done.
over.
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah, so actually we do a lot of surveys and reports at Salesforce, and we just launched a report called State of Marketing, the 7th edition, where we interview more than 8,000 CMOs around the world, and we also have a Nordic subset of these interviews, so we have made some research on this. And the top challenges right now is for the Nordics, or the priorities is to create a cohesive customer journey, making sure that you are able to do that. Also to have a unified view of data across the different silos or different applications. And then the final one for marketeers is to improve the ROI. And these three challenges, I think, is something that a lot of people or marketeers can
very relevant.
Can relate to. At Salesforce, I will say we have the two last ones are okay because we have a very strong platform. So
so we unifying have data and then calculating the ROI.
Is we have better. A very strong view of that, but still, again, coming back to the first point around creating a cohesive customer journey is something we're focusing on in the Nordics in Salesforce. Making sure the content is relevant, making sure that we don't just have separate activities happening and not really thinking about having the customer at the center. Because a lot of different activities, a person is doing a lot of different activities online, physically. How do you make sure that all this is... Also
with sales in there as well and all that kind of stuff, right? Yeah.
How all the data is captured. We have that view, but how do you use the view? How do you make sure that the data you get is then used for something useful?
Yeah, and how does it inform your guys' marketing strategy? That's the other thing. Yeah. I think that often, at least we get tripped up on that as well. It's like you have so many pieces of data to analyze that it's sort of like, well, I don't really know what I'm supposed to do with this in some ways. And I think that's maybe the next step in the evolution of marketing, is that we're going to have some sort of AI solutions or things like that are actually pinpointing, hey, these 5 insights that we have here, combine those equal this, right? And we can already see that in some analytics programs and things like that, giving us that output. So I'm imagining that same thing
we
is
have, and actually
guys.
Søstrene Grene, that's one of our customers, they have been able to collect data from a lot of different touch points and then create this personalized journey for their customers. And they just won a Digital Excellence Award on this sort of solution. So there are companies that can do that and are very good at it.
Yeah, that's great.
So, and then again, going back to this connecting the dots or getting a unified view, we also have, there is a company called Logpoint, a scale-up company. They have decreased the sales cycle by more than 40% by having
the right
single
touch points
view, and exactly, and making sure that okay, now this person needs this kind of content.
Yeah.
This is now you call him or her, and then you close
that's
the
brilliant,
deal.
because that's the hardcore data that you need, right? Like what content, when do I need to
and
step
how do you
in?
act on it? Yeah, exactly.
So that's really cool. Do you see many differences between the Nordics, or is it pretty unified, like how you approach them?
I think what we see is there's a difference between the B2C companies and the B2B companies, at least with our customers. So there are different challenges, whereas the B2C, they have a lot more interaction with sort of income customers, of course, and then the B2B have fewer customers, but bigger engagements.
Interesting.
Yeah. But
there's no difference between like Norway and Sweden, or is there?
We are not as... our biggest footprint in Salesforce is in Sweden and Denmark so far. So Norway is building up right now. So we don't have as many customers. So in Norway, we have large enterprises and many startups. So we are actually missing that middle view of customer. Not missing, but we don't have as many in Norway as we have in the other countries.
But that's interesting, though, that a lot of startups just start by using this kind of system, because that shows that data is really a valuable leverage to have, right, when you're building a business. So I would love to pick you guys' brain about this. Like, what do you think, which role is data playing to today's marketing?
Yeah.
It's a big question.
I can say it from our perspective.
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
like, obviously,
your point of view.
Obviously, like so I have to put on two different hats here. One being the business owner of a B2B, company. And then one being a consultant to our clients. And I would say that what we're using the data for our customers is really informing what content is working and what's not. Yeah. And I think the powerful thing that most brands don't realize is that with social, at least, like, you can scale up content and scale up your data very quickly for very little money and actually find out what works on a massive scale, right? So we can really look at, okay, let's do these 5 pieces of content. Let's put it out there and see which is, put $100 behind it and see which performs the best. And I think that's one element that I think a lot of brands don't necessarily do, and they should really guess and test their creative and their social content much, much more than they currently do. Now, that's the sort of role of data that I see is beforehand, before you even, want to release something organic out into the world, you can really use your data to inform you. The other part, as a B2B owner, I think what I struggle with, and you've mentioned it, is like those points. Like, how do you take all of these things? So, for example, we had Lead Feeder on our website for a long time, and Lead Feeder is basically just who is visiting your site, right? It's giving you IP addresses and then matching those with company names, right? So I could see that Salesforce was on our website today. They looked at this piece of content and they did this and that.
Yeah.
And at one point you just go like, there's so many leads coming in, there's so many companies. What do you do with this?
Yeah.
Like, so in some senses, I think what happens to a lot of startups or young companies is they can get into some sort of analysis paralysis because they've got so many data points. We got our social data, we got our website data, we got this Lead Feeder data, we got our CRM data, and they really don't know what to do with it, right? So I think that's the difficult point. And I think what you have to do is use it as an informative thing and just start, using it to sort of inform your next piece of data or your next strategy. I don't know if you can use it in a sort of a day-to-day. You have to look at sort of the helicopter view of all the data and say, okay, are we doing good at bringing in certain types of traffic? Are we doing good at bringing in certain types of customers? Is it actually translating to meetings, to business? If it's not, then maybe we cut off that piece of data because it's not adding to us. So that's how I sort of see it.
Yeah.
Did I answer the question at all?
Yes, of course. I think it's interesting just to have your take. Also,
I agree. Data is everything, but how you make use of it is sort of and also what kind of channel mix do you need? As you say, analyze, what are you doing? Do you need to change anything? What the content?
Yeah.
I mean, there are so many data points, but it's making use of it that's really important.
Of course.
Yeah, I think that's the hard part.
Yeah.
Because we have all the data we need.
But a good example is actually the Danish bank Spar Nord, which is also our customer. They also have really improved the customer engagement. So by using the data in a proactive way, an intelligent way. They are one of the most popular banks, and the customers are giving them prizes, and so it really pays off if you use the data to personalize and make relevant, provide relevant updates and marketing to the customers.
It's making that jump to actually use it and do it in a smart way.
So like I think the point of this is like you both mentioning like it's fine that you have a great tool, but you kind of also have to know how to use that tool, right? Otherwise it's just tools.
Yeah, and accept that you will make mistakes and you will learn, and things will change. So what was working last year might not work now, and you need to look at it all the time.
Because it's very dynamic also, which probably also would translate in the data you receive, as long as you know where to look and what to do about it. So last question for me at least, how do you guys see the future of marketers, for the marketers?
Our analysis shows that the marketers are actually very optimistic, and now we are able to show the value of what we actually do because we have better systems and we have better data. So my recommendation and what I'm focusing on is innovation. I think it's really important for all marketers to innovate, think about new ways of doing things, and don't do it alone. So a good example again is Pandora, one of our customers. We've done hackathons with them. I think that's a great way to sort of bring digital and data into sort of the innovation and just come up with crazy ideas, innovate, see what could happen. How do we able to engage different parts of the organization and get ideas from everywhere and then see what works. So I'm more optimistic.
I love it. That's the way to be. Innovate, folks. Good. I love your answer. It's very, very
it's
promising.
Innovative, right? The tip. I mean, I'm all for innovation.
Okay, good. Nice. All right, great.
Support. Yeah. But that's great, Majken. Thank you so much. I don't have. That's all for me.
That's great. Thank you so much. That
Thank
was brilliant.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it was great to hear your insights, and
really
very cool. And you should be proud of the place you work.
I am very proud. If you couldn't hear it,
that's
very
great.
excited. I really love it. But it's a lot of good insight.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you so much. So
thank you guys for listening.
Thank you. We'll see you on the next episode. Please like, share, comment, share again. Like it twice, dislike it, and then like it again.
A lot of engagement. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
See you.
Bye.
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 This has been the Social Media Sucks Podcast.